Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Things Reviewed. I know it's been a while. You might hear the fan in the background. We're having a heat stroke today. Well, heat wave. But yeah, let's take a look. I'm back because the new Cyberpunk's out. Um, Edge Runners 2, so that's kind of cool. So we're just gonna take a look at that. Still have to review Bunny EXO and Jolie Rowling divorce. I think that's interesting. The Blake Lively thing is still going on, so that's interesting as well. But let's look at Cyberpunk. Let's go at the trailer first. I think this is the trailer. So let's just take a look at the trailer. Let's go. Cyberpunk. Yeah, so as you can see, like it's a lot going on. For me personally, I don't know what to make of all of it, to be honest. Um, yeah, I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. But that's why we're doing the review. I'm looking at these guys, how they're breaking down the trailers, and then kind of add from there. It looks interesting, but it doesn't look as good as the original Headrunners. That was cool. I wish they picked up from like Lucy and David. I wasn't looking for like new characters and stuff like that. I thought the original Headrunners universe was pretty cool, so we'll go from there.
Edge Runners Season 2 just got its first trailer, a full reveal of the new cast, and a release window fall 2026. So let's break it down and find any new secrets in the trailer. But first, here's everything we know about the new Edge Runners crew. Starting off, we have Roman Carax, a young cinephile in search of real stories in a city that abandoned cinema for brain dance. He is obsessed with documenting the truth and following the lives of other people. A witness to every gig's cost, every fall, and every legend. According to Edge Runner's lead writer, Roman is a love letter to cinema. Then we have Weak Kingsley, once known as King, a veteran Edge Runner at the top of his game. Weak now lives in the shadow of his former glory. Heavy is a crown, heavier is the chrome. Then we have D, a Snake Nation netrunner with sharp technical skills and a sharper hunger for revenge. D hunts the killer who wiped out his clan. No signal, no survival. And finally, Talia Yang. She was raised in corporate towers and then joined Maelstrom, who hardened her. She is fiercely independent and hyperviolent, and like Maelstrom is also obsessed with Chrome. Corpo towers to the Chrome-forged edge. Now that we know the crew, here is the breakdown of everything in the trailer. I know people originally thought this was Dum Dum yesterday in that GIF that they shared on Twitter, but I think the Chrome is pretty different. Similar but different. I don't think this is Dum Dum though. As far as a major thing in the trailer, something that really stands out is how much Arasaka presence there seems to be. We have this woman who looks like she's in some kind of Arasaka facility. And I think it seems to be King's story who is closely affiliated with Arasaka, as we have this image of him with the logo right behind. There's also the flathead, and I think these two are Arasaka employees. Week is seen again with them in the trailer driving somewhere, and then we see an Arasaka label on a turret. There's also quite a bit of Arasaka red throughout, and I think Roman, this kid, is recording a bunch of Arasaka employees getting flatlined. There's also this shot of Week absolutely ripping into this person who looks like they're wearing an Arasaka uniform. You can't see the Arasaka logo, but the color and design very much looks like Arasaka. And thanks to Kalenko on Twitter, we have another Arasaka connection. The Arasaka Industrial Park is where Maelstrom and Talia seem to be. Maybe all their stories converge on a hit on Arasaka. The shot of the Arasaka turret also looks like maybe Talia is the one dodging the shots. Something else that is super interesting is that we don't see any of our main cast together in any of these scenes. They're all separate. I think the only one that we see where Roman is interacting with someone is, it looks like he's recording D beating the shit out of someone from Maelstrom. And then D turns to look at him in the eyes and then kind of just continues what he was doing. So I think our connection to everyone else is probably going to be through Roman's lens. Maybe he was recording them before they all became a crew. Or maybe he records them.
No, but doesn't this guy look burnt? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
Afterwards, and watches this hit on what I assume might be Arasaka. Or maybe they're not even a crew, and it's just Roman that we have all these connections through, and each one has their own story. D looks like he's beating the ass of some Maelstrom members, so I wonder if it was Maelstrom who is behind killing his clan. And maybe that's how he meets Talia. We also see D hacking several times with red eyes, so maybe he's accessing things he shouldn't to become as powerful as.
Red Eyes is acting right. Man, I hope they give us a next Hedge Runners. But I'm seeing this Chrome is different though. This Chrome doesn't look like the next Hedge Runners Chrome. I'm seeing like a couple YouTubers saying this Hedge Runners is kind of different.
Possible to kill those who killed his clan. Could he get so extreme as to try to access the Blackwall or even rogue AI? I think we're going to see him really push himself and what he's capable of. As far as timeline, we don't get any concrete information from this, but there was a character with a 78 on his jacket. This is a major stretch and it could mean absolutely nothing. But could this take place after 77, in the year 78? Are we finally moving past V's story into the future? Could this even connect to Cyberpunk 2 if that is the case? There's also two characters who I think could become cyber psychos. Talia because she's obsessed with Chrome, and we literally see her getting more. Or Week, who is seen several times throughout the trailer with that iconic cyber psycho face. Maybe this is his pants and jacket, and his hands before he got the red Chrome ones. Maybe we're even seeing time jumps. Maybe when he was at his weakest, he tried to kill himself before getting more Chrome. There's a ton of possibilities here, but I do think that King's story is absolutely connected to Arasaka. Especially in one of these shots, the woman from the Arasaka shot earlier is shown behind King, like he's thinking about her or being influenced by her in this moment. And shout out to Kalenko once again for finding these two locations from the actual game. This first one has Roman standing above the Riot Club that connects to Watson and the city center. And this next one is Week, laying outside of the afterlife. This is one of my favorite parts about Edgerunners, is how accurate to the game that it is. I'm excited to see all the different locations and hear the different sounds of Night City. A few shots of the trailer were also uploaded to the CDPR Press website, and a few of them weren't in the trailer, so I'll go ahead and link that below. And I think that's maybe everything in the trailer. There is a few characters in the actual poster that haven't been revealed, I don't think. And then there's this one from the trailer who I don't think we've also seen either. So of course there's definitely still way more that we haven't seen. But based on what we have seen for Season 2, I imagine Roman is going to record everything the crew does. And maybe with the line about recording every legend, maybe he will even record their death. Either way, I don't think this kid is going to die, but he's either going to come out of whatever he's about to experience with two possible outcomes. Either he will be traumatized to the point of no return, or he will be made numb, eager to find something greater, the next legend, record the next death, or something like that. Either way, it's not looking good. As far as the other characters, I could of course see them all dying, but maybe that's too predictable this time? Maybe they think we will expect it, and they'll subvert our expectations because of it. Though the very opening shot of the entire trailer is a heartbeat being flatlined. So yeah, someone is definitely dying. I could see Talia going cyber psycho. I could see Dee destroying himself if it means killing whoever killed his clan. And I could see Week dying in a way that makes him become a legend, finally surpassing his past glory. As far as what to expect this season, according to the lead writer, expect it to be more violent, bloodier, and sadder. More raw, more realistic. And I'm sure we will learn more when Edgerunners Season 2 has its next major reveal, which will be at Anime Expo on July 3rd at 7:30 PT. So be on the lookout for more news after that. But what do you think? What do you expect from this season of Edgerunners, and did I miss anything? If you're interested in more Cyberpunk content, lore, and news, make sure to subscribe for more. I'll be sharing some of my older Cyberpunk videos on this channel, and also diving into the lore that connects to any of our new characters. So stuff like Snake Nation, Maelstrom, etc. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, Chooms.
For years back, we were hit with this massive lightning strike that was Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It single-handedly revived and redeemed Cyberpunk 2077 for so many players. As an audience too, we were all left traumatized and high-key emotionally devastated. And honestly, we all thought it was over, even though we secretly wanted more. But guess what, guys? Netflix is definitely not done with this IP, and I couldn't be happier to hear that. After many months of silence and no updates, we officially have a brand new teaser trailer for Cyberpunk Edgerunners Season 2. And there is so much to dissect and discuss. This one looks like it will be an even wilder ride than the first season, and we're not just continuing with David Martinez's story. This will take a whole new route as we explore Night City once again and lose our minds and cry our eyes out. Woohoo! Can't wait! But before that, we're going to be breaking down everything we've figured out from the trailer. And best believe by the time we're done, we're going to be jumping to watch the new season. Not that anyone needed any more convincing at all. So without further ado, let's get started.
It's the only way I could protect you from this damn city. Just too many I couldn't save before.
The show immediately kills any hope of David returning. David is dead. Yes, guys, it's time to reach the final stage of grief and just accept it. We've been through denial and anger and depression, all of it, but there's no escaping reality anymore because the first thing that Edgerunners 2 does is it shuts down the rumors and conspiracy of David being alive. For 4 years, fans have held on and gone crazy with theories of how David actually survived, and maybe Arasaka preserved his body or Adam Smasher didn't actually kill him. Or maybe at least his consciousness had been uploaded somewhere and is alive. But no more. The creators have finally put an end to all of this and clearly said that David is dead, but Night City lives on, as reported by the CDPR's official blog. But guys, that's okay. In fact, it's actually a good thing and makes sense from a narrative point of view. David's story was insanely tragic and left us all broken because that was the point. Bringing him back would just dilute and and sort of negate everything season 1 had built up, including his death and downfall. The whole idea of this show is that nobody escapes Night City forever. The actor who plays David, Zach Aguilar, is clearly just like us fans, and though he doesn't know if he'll ever return, he would love to. Here's what he had to say. I don't know if I'm ever gonna have a chance to be in that or be a part of it again, or what's happening there with that whole thing. I get asked that question all the time from fans, and I truly don't know. But I told Stibor as well, whatever you guys have planned, or if I ever have a chance to be a part of it or work with you guys again, I would absolutely love that. So yes, guys, don't expect any Lucy and David reunions or even flashbacks. That era is over. This is not David's story anymore. Night City has officially become the real main character. So if it's not David, then who? Well, we do have a new bunch of characters, more on that later, but it's starting to become clear that Night City is and will be the main character.
I like how he said that Night City will be the main character. Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm feeling these new characters. I might give it a watch to be honest, but I was looking forward to the continuation of David's story.
Even the plot synopsis of sorts that the blog sets up reads as follows. In a city that thrives in the spotlight of violence, one question remains. When the world is blinded
Yeah, this guy here looks burnt. I'm not sure.
by spectacle, what
I guess these are the characters. They don't look as amazing as I thought, man.
extremes do you have to go to make your story matter? The focus is definitely shifting to the city itself, and I think that's a great decision because let's be real, Night City is so much more than just a backdrop. It was always another character, but this time it's becoming even more central to the story. It's like a living, breathing city that's feeding off of the ambitions of the people living in it. The city was and continues to be bigger than David. It's a world that is crumbling under corruption, violence, gangs, rogue AI, and desperate people just trying to survive. After all, David and the others come and go, but the city remains. And of course, the series is heavily being marketed as a standalone 10-episode story. So think of it more as an anthology style with the episodes interwoven to show the dark depths of the city. When we discuss the characters revealed, you'll realize even more how the city is going to be captured in a very unique lens this time. The trailer introduces 4 completely new characters and one particularly flips the script. This was definitely one of the most interesting parts of the trailer for me, figuring out the 4 brand new central characters and their roles and backgrounds. David and his crew are gone, and we have a new roster taking over. So the 4 characters are Week Kingsley, D, Talia Yang, and Roman Carax. Let's take them one by one. First up, this is the character that changes things significantly. We've got Week Kingsley. First off, he's a badass character that's definitely on the older side, which is great. CD Projekt Red social media manager Marcin Lukaszewski himself related a lot to this aspect. He said, as someone who's just got a bit older, Week's character in Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2 resonates with me a whole lot. Can't wait for you guys to meet him when you watch the series. He is cool and for so many reasons. But that's not even the whole story. You see, Week Kingsley is actually a veteran edgerunner who has been through some deep shit. He previously used to be one of the very best and heavily chromed top-tier edge runners of Night City, but it all collapsed when he struggled with cyberpsychosis, which you can almost see in the trailer itself. So he does strip himself of all implants, which is why the eventual renaming of him as Weak. Now this changes things because imagine an edge runner with no enhancements in a world that is constantly pushing for the next upgrade and never-ending chrome installations. This is a society where cybernetic enhancements are basically equal to social status. And there we have Kingsley, defying all these rules while also carrying some psychological pain and trauma. That will definitely be interesting to watch, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Of course, tragically, but nonetheless. Okay, now next up we got D. And yes, guys, it's not just the letter of the alphabet, but the newest addition to our Edge Runners roster. We don't know a whole lot about him except that he's a member of Snake Nation and wants revenge for the destruction of his clan. Then there's also Talia Yang, who's a former corporate pro with pink hair and a penchant for violence and acrobatics. She appears very clearly in the trailer and really sets the tone for this new season, upping the stakes of violence even more. And finally, we got our protagonist, Roman Carax, who's a cinephile and wannabe director. He runs around Night City in search of stories in a city that abandoned cinema for brain dances. Armed with an analog camera, he tries to capture the horrors that this world actively ignores and turns away from. And it's clear that in this way, he stumbles upon many violent acts, particularly those committed by our other cast members. The creative team behind it is basically an anime dream team. Of course, a major part of the success of this first season was the visuals, directions, animation, and all the creative decisions behind the scenes. And this definitely continues to be a major factor in season 2, as is clear from the mind-blowing trailer. Returning as showrunner and writer is Bartosz Stajsbor, who's the guy you can blame for your emotional trauma for season 1. Now, though one of the founders of Studio Trigger and season 1 director Hiroyuki Imaishi is sitting this one out, Edge Runners animation co-director Kai Ikarashi has been taken over pretty well. And let's not forget he directed the unforgettable episode 6. We also have Masahiko Otsuka, another co-founder of Trigger, returning for the writing, and former animation co-director Ichigo Kano will be taking on the role of lead character designer. So yeah, despite a few changes here and there is no less than a dream team, and the results are right in front of our eyes. The music choice in the trailer might secretly reveal the entire emotional direction. Okay, so first off, the music choices from season 1 were already such bangers, so we knew to expect something exceptional this time too. Fortunately, the original score for this season is by legendary composer Tsuneo Imahori, who is replacing Akira Yamaoka, who scored season 1. And then there's the new track in the trailer, which is another surprise. Remember season 1? We had I Really Want to Stay at Your House, and then initially we all thought it was just a cool high energy track, but as the show and the story unfolded, it took on a whole emotional life of its own. It became significant because of David and Lucy's story. So similarly,
It's going into Davis and Lucy's story. Let's leave it there. Let's see what this
New
guy breaks
video.
down.
Today we have a lot to talk about because CDPR and Trigger
I like doing multiple breakdowns so you get a feel for it, you know?
have revealed more information about Cyberpunk Edge Runners 2, including details about the characters and the first teaser trailer, so today I want to cover it all. But first things first, we're gonna be starting off with the basics about the show, the writers, the basically creative team behind it, then we're gonna bounce onto the characters, and we're also going to take a look at the trailer and see all of the hidden little things we can speculate about. So CD Projekt Red and Trigger return to Night City with a new story, fresh characters, and an even more raw, brutal take on the world of the dark future. At the helm of Cyberpunk Edge Runners 2 is director Kai Ikarashi, lead character designer Kano Ichigo, and the creative minds behind Cyberpunk Edge Runners 1 story. So that's the Hugo Award winner Bartosz Stajsbor and Masahiko Otsuka. So the creative team behind the anime is going to be very strong, just like it was for Edge Runners 1. Now they did talk a little bit about the story, and this is what it says. Cyberpunk Edge Runners 2 pulls you back into Night City, where lives become entangled to the extreme. Weak, a washed-up cyberpunk legend, is now forced to live without Chrome as he searches for the sense of purpose in a world that's passed him by. Meanwhile, Deadly Nomad D sets up out on a path to revenge that brings him close to the corpo's secrets never meant to be found. Across this 10-episode standalone series, uncover a story of family, obsession, and legacy, and how your lens reflect these stories to the people around you. So story-wise, yes, Week is going to be one of our first characters that we're going to meet, and he's going to be this legendary edge runner which is now without any chrome. And we know from Cyberpunk 2077, at least the latest ending, which was added in Phantom Liberty, we know if you lose the chrome in the Cyberpunk universe, you are pretty much gone. It might as well be as you never existed. That's why I think this is going to be really interesting dynamic to see. And at the same time, we have D, a nomad who sets out to find the killer of his clan. I mean, kinda looks familiar if you kinda compare D to Sasuke, but yeah. And as far as characters go, we have 4 out of 5 characters which have been revealed. As we can see on their website at the time of recording this video, there is a 5th character and it says here coming soon, so we don't know who this is, going to be. But first off, when it comes to Week, he was born on December 30th.
Oh, interesting so far. Interesting. Oh, it's been an hour? Interesting.
His blood type is A, and he was once known as King, a veteran edge runner at the top of his game. Week now lives in the shadows of his former glory, and as we already read up there, he is going to be someone who has been stripped of mostly, all of the chrome, so he has now have to find a purpose to do anything in his life, especially if you have been one of the legendary edge runners, or in general one of the legendary people in Night City. Now for the Japanese VA, he's going to be voiced by Kentaro Tone, and for the English VA, he's going to be voiced by Clancy Brown, which is honestly quite
Yeah, that's some big actors, man. Big actors.
cool, considering that Clancy already has a very good history when it comes to voice acting, and I believe he is going to do a really good job, which also makes me think okay, I'm going to also watch this with the English VA, because usually if I'm watching anime, I'm just going to watch the Japanese, version of it. The second character is D. He was born on October 1st and his blood type is AB. Now he is a Snake Nation netrunner with a sharp technical skill and a sharper hunger for revenge. D hunts the killer who wiped out his clan. For the Japanese VA, he's going to be voiced by Koki Uchiyama, and for the English VA, he's going to be voiced by Nazi Darsha. Now, one of the best things for D is definitely that he is a member of the Snake Nation, and Snake Nation are one of the largest nomad groups in the Cyberpunk universe, and they're actually the member of the Seven Nation. So you have to understand that Snake Nation in general has over 1 million members, at least it had it, back in 2020, and also at least when it comes to their leadership in 2020, one of the most notable people was Freddy Douglas. And one very interesting thing about Snake Nation is because back in the 2000s, when the other 6 nomad nations were founded, Snake Nation was kinda established as a counterbalance to that, so it remains somewhat decentralized and they still have their freedom. So Snake Nation is basically comprised of different clans, different families, different nomad families, which are operating here and there, and that's why when you think about okay, there was someone who wiped out his clan, or his group, they don't mean the entire Snake Nation, they obviously mean just this specific group that he was a part of. I mean, their motto is basically "don't tread on me," so you can kinda establish what Snake Nation is and what it sort of represents within the Cyberpunk universe. But one thing we can definitely see from the trailer and D is that, Blackwall is going to play a role. This red thing is basically very similar to using the Blackwall gateway in Cyberpunk 2077, or just using those hacks in general, because whenever you combine hacks, quick hacks, and rogue AIs, that's never going to end well. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the whole angle and relationship of D is going to be with Blackwall, and how is the killer going to be related to that, because keep in mind, whoever wiped out his family, his, nomad group, has to be someone strong, because to wipe them all out just like that cannot be done by someone who is basically a beginner or someone who's not really, really strong. So I do wonder who is it going to be within the Cyberpunk universe. Next up we have Roman, and that's this kid with the camera. So he was born on July 20th, his blood type is A. So Roman Karax is a young cinephile chasing real stories in a city that's abandoned film for braindance. Obsessed with documenting truth, he shadows the lives of others, only to learn that unlike his favorite reels, Night City stories are messy, brutal, and rarely tied up with a clean ending. And for Japanese VA, he is voiced by Momoka Terasawa. But in the English VA, he is voiced by Valeria Rodriguez. I mean, there's only one thing I can say about Roman, is that this kid is a psychopath. I mean, I don't see any other explanation that I can sort of look at his character, his eyes, how he's looking through the camera, and not say that he is a full-on psychopath, because only a full-on psycho would be doing this. And I know people say that other characters are, almost all of them are cyber psychos, sure, but this kid, I don't know what to say. I mean, especially because they're going to be combining the VHS tape and all of that. We can see that in the trailer. I mean, from just the visual, art standpoint, it looks great, and I do wonder how they're going to really implement this in the story. But I do like that the kid is actually using a VHS camera, and they're not just using some eye implant or whatever, Kiroshi or whatever else to record or basically do a brain dance. I think this is a very nice angle, especially considering that this is going to be set obviously after 2077. And the last known character that we have for today is Talia. Her birthday was on April 2nd, and the blood type is A. Very interesting, just like some of the others. So she was raised in Corpo Towers, but she was hardened in Maelstrom's grip. Talia is fiercely independent and steeped into the gang's hyper-violent, chrome-obsessed culture. So interesting, we have a Maelstormer here, which is definitely going to be an interesting character, because if you don't know, if you never played the games or you never read the books, Maelstrom are sort of nuts, they're crazy. I mean, there's no other explanation to say that, especially because of the amount of chrome they use. Almost every single Maelstrom is either on the border of being a cyber psycho or genuinely is a cyber psycho, so it's a very interesting concept indeed. Now, she's going to be voiced by Akari Kito, and in the English VA she is going to be voiced by Kimoy Lee. And we actually do see in the trailer that she is going to be, well, incredibly fast and powerful and strong to fight other people, because that's just how you are when you have a bunch of chrome with you. So it's very interesting to see how is her character going to fit into all.
Yeah, it's interesting so far. I think last one and then let's see.
For years back, we were hit with
Oh,
this.
damn, it's the same guy, same guy. All right, let's leave it there. I think we covered enough for Cyberpunk.